Good evening. My name is Wallace Gator Bradley, and I'm the host of the Bradley Report. I'm also the president of United in Peace, Inc., and I'm known as the Urban Translator. This show is being put together by none other than the director and the producer, who happens to be the chairman of United in Peace, Inc., none other than my wife, Terry Marsh Bradley. And the technical things that help make this show work is by none other than Mr. Omari. We got a very important show. We're going to talk about the importance of the vaccination and Gator go and get his booster shot, and the fact that J.B. Pritzker is saying no jobs, no vaccination, no jobs. Okay? And I might have a young man call in, Mr. Miller, if it can happen. If not, we're going to move on with the show. So without further ado, to God be the glory. You heard my story. Omari, let's go to work.
If you pick up that gun and you fire that gun, anyone that get harmed from you firing that gun, that's an innocent bystander. We asking the community, ostracize them, push them out, don't let them hide anywhere, don't support them, and let law enforcement do their job.
The code is this: if you pick up that gun to solve your problem, I'm not endorsing violence. I'm saying you're violating the code if you discharge that weapon and innocent people get shot or killed, especially a child or an elderly person. And the community must uphold that code.
He got a shoe shine.
The reason that it worked in the 90s, because everyone was a part of it. Kids, women, elderly, was off limits.
You didn't touch him.
Didn't touch them.
By ostracizing from the community, pushing you out of the community, not supporting you in the community or protecting you in the community, so that law enforcement can do their job by apprehending you. And the Cook County State's Attorney can do her job by making sure that you get a fair prosecution. This is so that there's no retaliation in the community because you discharge or you fire that weapon at your intended partner.
We all got to come together. Those of you, my name is Wallace Gator Bradley. I'm the Urban Translator, and I'm the president of United Peace, Inc. We all got to come together to let it be known that Black lives matter everywhere. Regardless if a police shoots somebody that's black, it means twice as much to our community when someone black is shooting someone black.
With at least 8 children under the age of 10 shot in the city in just 2 weeks, some are asking if that code still carries any weight.
There's something that we got to do.
Gator catches up with some friends on Calumet.
That 1-year-old that got killed.
His conversations of late have focused on kids getting shot. He says the rule still applies.
We as men got to put it down and say, that still exists. It never left.
We all got a responsibility.
We all got a responsibility, man.
But it never left.
I'm putting a call out to all the brothers. You know what we do. Put the word on the street that this is no longer tolerated. Me and Holmes work together and we know how it works. We've been able to help individuals turn themselves in of the community, kick them out, but law enforcement to come and arrest them. Now is the time. Just like it was a video from Miss Frazier that let everybody know about the awakening. of George Floyd. Somebody got a video, or we need to use our video to stop this senseless violence.
And I believe that vengeance belongs to the Lord. And with that, I want to say, to God be the glory. And that's my story.
You know, there's a lot of violence, but there's things that's being done within the community. As you know, I've been pushing the importance of this code and how everyone has to embrace it because we all saying the same thing, okay? Zero tolerance for senseless violence, shootings, and killings, okay? Zero tolerance for the abuse and the rape of women and children. And zero tolerance for the abuse and the robbery of elders and seniors. We can't tolerate it. And everyone got to be singing this same thing as if we are choir. This got to happen, and this is being done. Brother Omari, could you hit the piece that says like-minded people working together? I think that's the where J.B. Pritzker had his press conference. Right there, yes sir. Thank you. Pritzker had a powerful press conference yesterday over in, I believe it was West Garfield. Pritzker, may have been East Garfield, but it's on the west side. It was 3219 Curl Street, West Curl Street. Pritzker's call for a public health crisis of gun violence. And he did an executive order where he was funding $250 million in funding for a new state office to reduce and interrupt shootings. Pritzker was joined by Mayor Lori Lightfoot, Cook County Board President Tony Prattwinkle, and other elected officials, including the new Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Illinois State House, and that's none other than State Rep Welch, but we call him Speaker Welch. It was also held in the 28th Ward, Alderman Irvin, who was also the chairman of the Cook County Black Caucus. Could you take it up a little bit, Brother Murray? Right there. Governor J.B. Pritzker on Monday declared gun violence a public health crisis and plans to funnel $250 million over 3 years into reducing and interrupting shooting. A move, he said, is about children who are being gunned down amongst us. There's other individuals that's being gunned down as well. You know what I mean? There's innocent women and children and men, okay? Young men, young women, old men, old women being gunned down senselessly. Pritzker was joined by Mayor Lori Lightfoot, Cook County President Tony Prattwinkle, and other city elected officials and individuals, brothers and sisters, such as myself, like I represent United Peace Inc., okay, which is an organization that believes that we need to support and push zero tolerance. This is what J.B. Pritzker did Monday by having all the different vested interests together. They all got the same concern, but they need to speak with the same voice. Tony Pratt-Winkle, the state's attorney, Kim Fox, Sheriff Dart, they all have came out publicly. I interviewed them publicly, and they came out and said they were in support of the code, which is zero tolerance for senseless violence, shootings, and killings. Zero tolerance for the rape and abuse of women and children. Zero tolerance for the abuse and the robbery of senior citizens. Okay? Thank you, Brother Amari. And we go to the next story. What I want to say is this, is that people got to realize that there's something that's happening people got to realize that there's something that's happening. I'm expecting a guest, but he's probably going to call in. But anyway, people have to realize that it takes all of us. It takes all of us to come together to help stop this senseless violence. That was a major step that the governor did. But also, the governor also said, I think it's the vaccine, come down, come down, come down. No, not that one, not that one, not that one, I'm sorry. My bad. There's another story up there where it says, no vaccine, no vaccine, no jobs. Yes, sir. The governor came out and he let it be known. No vaccination, no job. Pritzker ready to sign new Illinois COVID restriction law. Now, people, we all got to get vaccinated, okay, to help get control of this COVID. I myself, I went and got my booster shot the other day. And I don't leave home without my card. You know what I mean? It's going to be where you won't be able to get into restaurants without either wearing your mask or showing your vaccination card. That's the new norm. That's the way it's getting ready to be. Individuals that don't want to go to work because they don't want to get vaccinated, that's your choice. But why would you refuse to be paid and you got insurance and you seeing that people are dying every day? You know what I mean? Okay? If you don't want to protect yourself, protect your neighbor, protect your friends, protect your children. Okay? Brother Omari, let's go to the WTTW interview. Right there. Hit that right there. Thank you, sir. I want y'all to listen to this.
Chicago officials say they are ready to roll out a coronavirus vaccine for kids ages 5 to 11 now that one has been approved by the FDA under emergency use. The city's top doctor says shots could be going into young arms any day now.
We may have vaccines for children 5 to 11 possibly as soon as next week, and we have been planning for months around this.
Now, this comes on the backdrop of a new survey from the Kaiser Family Foundation, which found most parents are either on the fence or against the vaccine for their child. While 27% say they are eager to let their child get the shot, 1/3 said they'll wait and see, and 31% said they will definitely not let their child get vaccinated against COVID-19. Meanwhile, Black Chicagoans are still being vaccinated at lower rates despite the vaccine being widely available. The Chicago Department of Public Health says just 44% of Black Chicagoans are fully vaccinated. That's compared with nearly 66% of Asian Americans and about 63% of whites. So joining us now to discuss vaccine expansion for kids and vaccine hesitancy among Black Chicagoans are Dr. Whitney Lynn, a family medicine physician at Cook County Health, Beth Tedesse with the Chicago Department of Public Health, and community activist and vaccine ambassador Wallace Gator Bradley. Thanks to all three of you for joining us. Dr. Lynn, let's start with you, please. Tell us a little bit about what we know about the efficacy of these vaccines in children.
Yes, so, with the efficacy, what we're seeing with the new Pfizer data is that over 90% of this vaccine is efficacious at working and keeping our children safe. And so, our goal is to get our children out and get our parents out to get everyone vaccinated.
And you, like me, you've got two young boys. How did you arrive at your decision on whether or not to have them vaccinated?
I came to that decision actually last year. And part of the reason is because with everything going on, being remote was very difficult on my children, especially who's now 7-year-old. When he was in kindergarten, it took him mentally and socially, it really hurt him. And so I was seeing that we have to get vaccinated to get normal. And I recently got a call. My kid is actually now in quarantine because last week I got a phone call saying my kid was COVID positive. And both of my children were COVID positive. And it was hard. It was very hard for me to take. And it's hard as a physician and as a mom to get everyone to trust us and to get vaccinated. And I can tell you that the vaccine works because my husband and I were negative. And my mother, who's 70 years old, was also negative. And so that lets me know, and it should let everyone else know, that the vaccine works and it keeps us safe.
I'm sorry to hear about the diagnoses for your children. I'm sure it's a scary time and obviously very personal for you. Wallace, or Gator, excuse me, tell us about the work that you've been doing to get people vaccinated, especially in Black and brown communities.
In our community, it's very important that African Americans get vaccinated. And I'm glad that Pfizer has made it where the children can now get vaccinated. And I'm vaccinated, my daughter's vaccinated, my granddaughter's vaccinated, and now by the grace of God, we can get my great grandson vaccinated. He's 13 years old. So right after I get through doing this interview, I'm gonna call her to make sure that he is vaccinated, and I'm gonna go with him if he hasn't went to get vaccinated. Because we can't play with this. This is serious.
It is. Gator, I was just going to ask you, what are you hearing from people who say that they are hesitant, and what do you say, how do you inform them? What do you tell them?
Well, what I do is something that I use culturally. In the 70s, we always said, listen to the beating drums, but fast forward, we in 2021, and I tell them, because of social media, the telephone, telegram, and telenegro, how important it is to get vaccinated. And the thing that gets me, when you send your kids to school, they have to get all type of shots and vaccination, okay, to go to school. When I hear people in the military saying they don't think they want to get vaccinated for the COVID, and I'm like, by you being in service and going across the world to fight wars on our behalf, you getting all type of vaccinations.
So you make the argument.
I just want to say this. But I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Well, go ahead. I'll let you finish, and then I want to bring Beth Tedesse in here.
Okay. I'm just saying that African Americans, stop listening to individuals that's telling you not to get vaccinated. Okay? You're seeing where your friends and neighbors and family members are dying. You're seeing the same things that I'm seeing on the TV, okay? I've had friends that survived it and did videos of what they went through. And this is real, okay? This is real. So I'm finding out that individuals that's telling others not to get vaccinated, then you find out that they're vaccinated.
So, Beth, tell us, what is the Chicago Department of Health doing to respond to vaccine hesitancy, especially as it prepares to roll this vaccine out to children?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. We're actually really excited because there's a lot of different options. For us from the health department, we're really leveraging all of Chicago and what it has to offer to make sure that young people and kids can get vaccinated. So one, we're working with healthcare providers, pediatricians to make sure that their offices will be equipped with enough vaccine supply and making sure that parents are aware that they can go there for vaccine. We've outreached to pharmacies. We're aware that Mariano's, Walgreens, CVS, Walmart pharmacies will make pediatric doses available. We also just issued a joint press release with CPS. We're all on one accord. They will be making vaccines available in schools as well. And then from the health department, we'll be sponsoring weekend clinics to the city colleges throughout Chicago. In many of the neighborhoods that do have really low vaccine uptake, like Inglewood, will be at Kennedy King College in November, making sure that there's vaccine available. We'll be at Olive Harvey College on the far south side. So for us, it's really making sure that we're leveraging all the different partners that we have in Chicago to get vaccine to our young people. We also have a Protect Chicago at Home program where it's almost like food delivery. We literally will bring vaccine into your home and make sure that you can get vaccinated in the comfort of that place. And it's been wildly successful.
And so all of that said, for parents who are then looking to get their children vaccinated, what can they expect as this moves forward in about 45 seconds?
Yeah, absolutely. So pretty soon here, once we do get the okay from like ACIP and the different advisory councils that it is safe, we've already pre-positioned vaccine to make sure that it's available in pediatric offices. We'll then start greenlighting our plan. So starting November 13th is when we kick off our city colleges. So we'll have bigger family-focused clinics so that anywhere from grandma to dad, anyone can get a COVID vaccine at these clinics. And there'll also be a marketing campaign as well.
Okay, so folks just need to keep their eyes open. We're out of time, but thanks so much to Dr. Whitney Lynn, Beth Tedesse, and Gator Bradley for joining us.
I'm doing my part because I've had a lot of friends that died. Let's get dead right there. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Brother Murray. That's me getting my booster shot. Brother Murray, there you go, my man. That's Gator getting his shot. You follow what I'm saying? Okay, I walk it or I talk it like I walk it. And therefore I walk it like I talk it. Oh, you know what I mean? Okay. While we waiting to see if I'm able to get this call in with this young brother. Okay. All right. I'm ready. Hey, you on the phone now? Okay.
Yeah, I'm on the phone right now.
Right, yeah, all right. All right, you got to tell them in the background they got to be quiet, okay?
Okay.
Hey, this young brother that I got on the line with the last little minutes that I got on the line. Hey, brother, give them your name, Brother Jamal. I know you. Tell them your name. You got 7 minutes, okay? I want you to...
Okay, my name is Jamel Miller, everybody. Future New York Times best-selling author for my 4-part book series entitled Walk With Me. Part 1, 10th Grade the Hard Way, was released earlier this year, and Part 2, The Point of No Return, is set to be released this Friday, November 5th. Both books will be available on ebooks through Rosalie Gaines Publishing Company called Royalty Writing Service. Mr. Bradley.
Yes, sir.
I created this series because I was fed up with the senseless violence against our children and citizens of Chicago and decided to make a change. Even though I've been unlawfully incarcerated in prison for the past 21 years due to blatant police and prosecutional misconduct at the hands of former Chicago police detective Michael McDermott and several crooked state attorneys. I am currently being represented by the incomparable Jennifer Bonjean of Bonjean Law Group and look forward to finally being returned to society next year and reestablishing a zero-tolerance policy for anyone who thinks it's okay to harm our children, citizens, and women in the city of Chicago.
Okay.
The great Marcus Garvey once stated, the best way to teach someone something is to tell them a story, and a story I know best is my own.
Okay.
I began writing my books about the street and prison life in hopes of deterring today's youth and future generations from making the same mistakes that so many others have made and becoming negative statistics.
Okay.
The knowledge of games is how I will use my books to organize the streets and promote positive change. I created this series so the masses could truly understand our plight and know what this life is like. God had a plan for me all along, Mr. Bradley, and had me to go through everything that I have so I could report the inner workings of the streets and prisons live and direct, raw and uncut, so no one can say they did not know.
You know,
Anyone who loves to walk it better than they talk it,
mm-hmm.
because they know that action speaks louder than words, contact me by going onto my Facebook page at Jamel, B-U-C-K Miller, or logging on to connectnetwork.com and setting up an email account so we can build and make real change for our city. I plan on turning my book series into the next great TV series, and I thank you, Mr. Bradley, for allowing your platform.
Okay.
I
Hey,
truly appreciate it.
don't hang up, because first off, I want you to spell your first name slowly for them.
Okay. My first name is Jamel. That's Jamel. My last name is Miller. Miller.
Okay, brother
I
Miller.
am currently incarcerated in Stateville Correctional Center.
Okay, now for my viewing audience, I know this young man, and I wrote a book 20 years after the book that Larry Hoover and them had written, From Gangster Disciple to Growth and Development, to show the manifestation of what growing and developing really is. It's not a game.
Absolutely.
Okay? This young man can tell you the book is going through the institutions, state and federal. This brother read it, and he know me, and he's there because he's wrongfully convicted. But he was one of the brothers that was, share that with them, brother. I got 3 minutes. Share that with them about meeting
Well,
you.
you know, the blueprint will change anybody's life who reads it, you know, or actually studies it. Reading is only announcing the presence of words. When you study something, that means you regain the information that has been read. And by doing so, it changed our lives. It wasn't complicated. It was all things that were feasible to the eye. And it was easy for us to understand, and it made all the sense in the world. And it's exactly what's going on. It's exactly the only way that we are going to be able to decrease the violence amongst our innocent youth and citizens on the streets, as well as our women who are sexually assaulted and kidnapped and other different types of atrocities that go on. It's the only way that it's going to happen. I'm in here. I know it. And the little guys that come in, they tell me that they wish that I was their big homie out there, because no one taught them. Nobody told them these different things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they not being held accountable for them. We have to hold them accountable for their actions.
Right.
That's the only way that we're going to change what's going on.
And you know, I want to appreciate you and all the brothers. Well, they know I did my bit in Stateville, okay? And I got pardoned by the governor, by the grace of God. And you know, and those that know, that I come back behind the wall to help bring those that was wrongfully convicted out of there. Just like Brother Joe Reed, y'all call him Elijah. You know what I mean? Just like Mark Maxson. Just like what we doing with Javan Deloney and Ivan Smith and Terrence Brooks. You know what I mean? So the thing is, I remember you. You came down with us when we marched downtown in the 90s, and we were able to stop the violence because we was pushing the code. Everybody was in support of the code, not just those in the street, because they knew that the disciplinarian was coming from behind the wall to the streets. That if you had to know, I'm telling my viewing audience that got kids that's out there that's involved in that negativity, you hit it from behind the walls. If you
get out of the way.
You got to get out the way. If you violate it, you're going to end up there. Make no mistake about it. I want to say this, brother. Oh, and before we go, let them know who your lawyer is, okay?
My lawyer is Jennifer Bonjean of Bonjean Law Group.
And
recently freed Bill Cosby.
And what's she doing now? And what else is she doing now? She doing appeal for who?
Oh, for Harvey Weinstein.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And
she's great at what she does.
yes, she is. Yes, she
I
is.
look forward to seeing you and having my boots to the ground with the brothers and us making some real change.
Amen.
You know?
Amen.
It's bigger
Amen.
than just going on TV.
Yes, it is. But check this out, though.
Yeah.
But this, sir, let everybody in Stateville know that this is streamed live, okay, to tens of thousands of individuals. Okay, Brother Miller?
Absolutely.
Okay, let them know this because it's going to be YouTube in 2 or 3 days, and it's going to be, I'm going to call your first lady. Talk to your mom, talk to your aunties, your uncles, and everybody else, because you know how we plug. And we're going to push it out there so they can see
We got to push it. We have to push this.
that you may be incarcerated. That you may be incarcerated, but your mind is not locked up. Okay? And with that, I got to.
You couldn't trap my mind. You know, I learned that from you.
I know. I know. I'm just being humble. You know, I'm just an urban translator, but I did follow the vision of a man that shared it with me. Talking about Brother Larry Hoover. Okay? He saw my potential before I knew. So it take each one, teach one. Right. Hey, man, so I got to wrap it up. I want to say this, man. I give you my love, honor, and respect. And this goes for every other brother that's doing the time instead of the time doing them. So with that, I want to say to God be the glory. And you have heard me and Jamal Miller's story. Hey, man, tell your mom and your family I love them. All they got to do is call me. Peace.
I appreciate you. You be well. And to the viewing audience, I thank y'all for y'all patience and cooperation.
My man.